I listened to I met Purvis Spann, and I met him down at the Museum of Science. No, no, no. I met him at there's a restaurant in Chicago. I don't know if you remember this, called the Soul Queen in New Orleans. Not New Orleans, Soul Queen on Stony Island.
Okay.
And
Yes,
it was a
yes, yes.
yes, there was a birthday party for a WVON listener who turned 104 years old. And my godmother was like, "Oh, I'd love to go," because Purvis was there, Carl Wright was there. Carl
Okay.
Wright and Purvis used to have a show called Blues and More
Okay.
on a public access channel. And I said, okay, my mom took us there. I asked my mom would she take us. She did. We went out there. I met Purvis. I had been calling his show actually before that. So he knew who I was, but didn't had never met me, didn't know. So when I told him, I said, well, I'm the young man, I call your show. Because I'd call him and say, I want to hear some Coco Taylor. He'd be like, who is this? Like, how old are
So, boy,
you?
how do you know who?
And why are you still up? It'd be Saturday
Right.
night. You still at midnight. And I'm just like, I want to hear some blues. So I introduced myself, and he said, come down to he said, well, I got pictures and everything. I had to share them with you, but we met. He was real nice to me and my mom and godmother. He said, I'm going to sit on a panel discussion tomorrow at the Museum of Science and Industry. Come
Right.
on out if you're able to, come on out. Sure enough, I did. My mom took me to the museum, and he was on a panel with Billy Branch,
Mhm.
and the moderator was Caleb Dubay, the late professor from DePaul University. And when I was there, I guess this is really what I guess really kind of kicked some things off. Uh, the moderator asked Purvis, said, "How are we going to keep the blues alive?" That's the question they love to ask.
Right.
And Purvis looked at me and he pointed right at me. He looked at me. He said, "Young man," he said, "stand up." And so I stood up, and he told the crowd, he said, "That young man is going to keep the blues alive." And I'm like, and again, I was a little kid. Again, I was probably fourth, right around that same time period. I was like in fourth grade or so. I'm just a little kid. I'm like, what? I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
I didn't know. And he said, but that young man is gonna keep the blues alive. And he said, young people like this man he's gonna keep the blues alive. So I
Right.
sat down, and sure enough, after that, I talked to Billy Branch, because Billy was like, who's this young guy that's a blues man? So he met me. Billy said, come on out to Rose's, come hang out with us, come to our show. So I started hanging out with him.
Okay.
And then I went to then a professor who was a moderator. He said, I want you to come speak to my class, to my students at DePaul, and tell them about your story and how you got into the blues. So I was doing guest lectures, and I
Wow.
was sitting in with blues legends, and I
Right.
was just, and I was a kid, I was a child, but I enjoyed it. And it all happened with Purvis just going to Purvis told me where to go, and I was there. And it's like from there, everything just branched off. And it was like I started building that network. But that was my blues origin
Right.
story.
Way back when.
And fast forward, I released music, had my own radio show for years. I mean, I've been an advocate. Now they call me a historian. So hey, that's my origin story. That
Okay.
is, I
I
hope that
love
wasn't too much, but
No,
that's my
I love
origin
it.
story.
I love it.